The night I returned home, the air was thick with memories, each breath a reminder of the laughter that once echoed through my childhood. I stood on the cracked pavement of my parents' driveway, the house looming before me, its paint peeling like old skin. I could almost hear them now, their voices, sharp and mocking, echoing in my mind. "You're obsessed, you know that? You're going to lose your mind over those filthy rats." My mother's laughter had always been the sharpest, a cruel dagger meant to carve away my passion. But I was no longer the naive child they had scorned. I had spent years unraveling the sinister tapestry of urban life, a world where the unseen thrived and whispered secrets that could shatter sanity. I was now a renowned urban parasitologist, a title that had transformed from a joke into a warning, a name whispered in hushed tones among those who knew the truth. The horrors I had unearthed were not merely theories. They were palpable, breathing things that lurked in the shadows of every city, every alleyway. As I stepped inside, the familiar scent of stale coffee and burnt toast enveloped me, memories flooding back like a tide. My family sat in the living room, their faces frozen in disbelief. I had left a boy, and in my absence, I had become something else entirely. I was a vessel of knowledge they could never comprehend, a harbinger of the truths they had ridiculed. "Look who's back!" my father sneered, his voice dripping with disdain. "The rat whisperer himself." "Dad, I save it," he interrupted, waving his hand dismissively. "We've heard enough about your delusions. You're just as crazy as the day you left." The weight of their disbelief pressed down on me, a familiar suffocation, but I had come to show them what their ridicule had cost. I had come to unveil the truth that lay hidden in the murky depths of my research. "Do you want to see what I've discovered?" I asked, my voice low and steady, a challenge hanging in the air. "Why would we want to see that?" my mother scoffed, but I could see the flicker of curiosity behind her eyes. "Because it's real," I replied, my heart racing. "You've mocked me for years, but the things I've witnessed, they're waiting just outside." With a mixture of skepticism and intrigue, my family followed me outside. The street was bathed in the pale glow of streetlights, shadows creeping like dark fingers along the ground. I led them to the park at the end of our block, a place I had come to know intimately. "Do you see that?" I pointed towards a cluster of trees, their branches twisting like skeletal fingers against the night sky. "That's where they gather." "Who?" my sister asked, her voice shaky. "The rats," I whispered, the word hanging heavy in the air. "But not just any rats. These are the hyper-intelligent vermin I've studied, the ones that carry knowledge beyond our comprehension. They're conduits of something far darker." As I spoke, the ground began to tremble beneath our feet. The laughter of my family faded, replaced by a palpable fear that wrapped around us like a shroud. From the shadows, they emerged, rats, hundreds of them, their eyes glinting like tiny lanterns in the dark. "Look!" I shouted, my heart pounding as the creatures swarmed around us. "They're here to show you what I've been warning you about." Panic erupted in my family. My mother screamed, her voice piercing the night, while my father stumbled back, eyes wide with terror. "Get them away from me!" he yelled. But the rats were relentless, their tiny bodies weaving through our feet, their whispers echoing in the silence. "Don't you see?" I cried, desperation clawing at my throat. "They're trying to tell you." The patterns they enact, the secrets they carry, it's all connected to the very fabric of our existence. But my family was lost in their own terror, their disbelief unraveling like a thread. The rats danced around them, an unholy ballet of chaos and fear. I watched as my sister fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face, the reality of my words crashing over her like a tidal wave. "You were right," she gasped, her voice trembling. we were wrong. And in that moment, I felt a shift, a deep resonant satisfaction that coursed through my veins. The years of ridicule and rejection had led to this moment, a vindication born not of success, but of survival. I had faced the darkness that had haunted me, the primal horrors that others had dismissed as mere fantasy. As the rats retreated into the shadows, my family stood frozen, their expressions a mix of horror and realization. They had witnessed the very thing they had mocked, the truth that lay hidden beneath their ignorance. "Do you understand now?" I asked, a chill running down my spine. "The world is far more complex than we can ever grasp. Those who choose to ignore it will pay the price." In the silence that followed, I felt a weight lifting, a sense of closure that wrapped around me like a warm embrace. I had returned home, not just as a man, but as a living testament to the horrors that lay beneath the surface. As I turned to leave, I glanced back at my family. Their faces were pale, the laughter that once filled this house replaced by an unshakable dread. I realized that they would never understand, never truly grasp the darkness I had faced. But that was no longer my burden to bear. I walked away, the night swallowing me whole, a bittersweet smile on my lips. The price of disbelief had been paid, and I was free.